What is it that you coulda, shoulda, woulda done this week had you thought of it? Had you been more attuned to being bright in the world and looking forward to life? Is there somebody you could have helped? Is there somebody you did help? We'd love to hear about it. Today, we're at part 5, version 5 of our renovation of the mind. And we'd love to hear anything that you've done this week that you could have done better, you should have done sooner. Maybe it's helping your neighbor. Maybe it is opening a car door for somebody. Maybe it's getting closer than 6 feet away from people and shaking their hand. You know, we miss our people contact these days. So if you got something that you did, please write it in the comments at the bottom. I'd love to hear from you. But good morning. This is Deb Meyer, CEO and owner of OdorXit Products, odorxit.com, and we are here to talk about changing your mindset. Love for you to hit the subscribe button down at the bottom so we can grow our channel and you get notified whenever we put up a new video, which I promise we're going to do. Honest, got some plans. So besides renovation of the mind, but what is it that you could have done this week better, sooner? I mean, helping out your neighbor. We've talked about this for the past few weeks. Calling the people who live by themselves in your neighborhood that are lonely. Maybe they're not on the phone enough. Maybe they don't have any kids and they need to talk to people. Forgive yourself if you haven't done that. Now you can change what you've done and be better at it. So what have you done? I've talked to people in the grocery store. It's amazing. You know, you kind of get focused at what's on the shelves because they're so empty. I was looking for spices, celery salt. How difficult is that? There was none. There was none. And half the shelves were empty. Well, 3/4 of the spices were all gone. Who thought? I guess we're doing a lot of cooking these days. But I was paying attention to the shelf and not really paying attention to where I was pushing my cart. And lo and behold, there was somebody else doing the same thing. And we almost ran into each other. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. He goes, I'm not paying attention either. You're fine. But you know, I've never felt the warmness of people when we do stuff like that, because we long for people. We long for conversation. We long for hugs and handshakes. And that's something that we've just missed during this time. What's something I could have done this week, should have done, will do this next week? Forgive me for my nose this morning. I've been sneezing. Guess it's cold out. I don't have enough clothes on. I am not sick with the virus, I promise. One thing I should have done, turn off the news sooner. Stop reading Facebook. Everybody's got tough opinions on Facebook. It's right. And I'm no different. I believe what I believe about what's happening out there, and it makes me mad. And probably does you too, whatever your belief, whether they're the same or different than mine. And I just got to turn that off. It is allow me to hunker in and really need this call this morning, this YouTube, so that I can reach out to you and give you hope, and in turn give me hope as well. So what am I going to do this week for my should have done last week? I'm staying out of Facebook and the conversations. I can get into groups that talk building your business. That's where my interest lies. What are new techniques, things we can do now that business is different? Business is different, and it's going to be different when we get out of this. And I don't know, a week, they say, May 1st. Maybe not, depending on what month. But bravo, Georgia, for taking the first little steps out. Texas. Because at some point, we need to get back to work. And we need to test the system, and we need to do it in baby steps. So now you kind of know my political opinion. That was not my point here, but that is what I'm going to do this week is stay off of Facebook. So if you want me, you better email me. I'll be on email. There's less opinion there. So what's something that you've done this week? Something that you'll do different this week? Are you out shopping yet? Are you visiting your neighbors? Have you had the little move the furniture out of your living room and have a picnic in the front living room on the brand new carpet? Carpet cleaners need work too, you know. How about some crazy idea? A friend of mine went to visit his parents. They have a big long picnic table and they all stayed 6 feet apart. You know, we want to be careful with our older community. We don't want to get them sick. My husband is older and I spray myself with Moms every time, by OdorXit. Every time I come home, spray my hands so that I don't give anything to him. You know, you don't know what you're touching at the grocery store, but you know what? You never did. And you pick up, you know, a product off the shelf and who knows who touched it before and if they, and then touch the product. I mean, we just don't know. So what else can you do this week? What about really listening? When's the last time you really listened in a conversation instead of our minds wondering to what we're going to do tomorrow, or I should have talked nicer to that person, or okay, when I finish up here, I've got to go do this, this, and this. We're really not present in our conversations. And how important is that? And one way to do that, it's been normal business practices forever. Asking questions about what they said. So you said I should repeat what you just said, maybe in different terminology? Is that what you're saying, Deb? That's exactly what I'm saying, Deb. Good. So when somebody makes a comment, so Barbara had her tooth pulled this week. She got into the doctor. Wow, that's great. So you paraphrase back to them, and that, for me, it cements it in my brain that Barbara really did have a dentist appointment. And the person knows that you're listening to them. You know, as we get older, and gosh knows I'm only a little bit over 39. Is that, can you see? No, my nose is not dry. We need kind of reminders to help us remember some of these things. You know, I have lists all over my desk. And no, you're not allowed to see my top of my desk. So I'm not moving the camera. So that I remember things to do. I've got things to do for this weekend. It looks like it's going to be warm out, and I want to get out there and plant some flowers, plant some herbs, and get my garden going for the year. What a great way to spend some of this clustered time that we can't go out, but you know, we can go to the store and buy things and come home and keep busy. I saw a line out in front of Joann's Fabrics the other day. It's like, what are they doing out in the parking lot? Well, you got to stand 6 feet apart. Even short lines look really long. So, but you know, they're getting fabric, crafting ideas and getting product for all that and come home and keep busy so they can stay inside. And have you filled up your tank yet for that 99-cent gas? It exists. You got to look for it, but it exists. Okay, let's see. Well, listen, okay, to ask the questions, I mentioned that. Be present, because something good is about to happen. If it's in your brain that something good is going to happen, it is. Because on our very first renovation of the mind, I mentioned, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And just a story to go with that, a friend of mine, we were on a coaching call this week, and everybody talked about, you know, what they were doing different in their business, and you know, it was going okay for all things considered, and you know, they're working the telephone all the time. And then this one lady spoke up and she goes, People are going to die. We all say we're in this together, but we're not all. Some people are going to die, and some people's businesses are going to die, and they're never going to come back, and life is going to be different, and we just gotta, I don't know what we're going to do. Well, you know what? Yes, some people always die, and some people's businesses always fail. And not that I'm not sympathetic to them, but if we reach out and do things differently, there's a good chance they won't. It's up to us. It's up to our heart. It's up to us to reach out and make a decision and not be negative. Because if we think something good is about to happen, we're right. If we think something bad is about to happen, unfortunately, we're still right. So be positive. That's what we're all here for today. And excuse me, I need to blow my nose. So forgive me. There is no cough button. Okay, I'm back. Not to worry, no viruses here. So even if I touch my camera, you won't get anything. But we can't waste this time. We can't waste this time being negative. That's why my should have, gonna is to turn off Facebook this week. I just got on a few things last night and had said my mind, and that's not. It's not productive for me. It really beat me up last night. So I need to stop doing that. I'm going to get on the build your business groups, and that's it. And if not building your business, we're not talking about it. Because you know what? I am grateful. I'm grateful for this time. And we have to look at it that way. I mean, it's a horrible thing to be sequestered in your house, to not be able to go out when you want. It's kind of like socialism. Forgive me for the government references, but they tell you when to come and go. But we got to be grateful and get things done around the house that we've always wanted to do, and that's fix our house. I got another friend who he's a handyman, and he is working so hard. He doesn't have any free time because he's got so many side jobs. He works in a hardware store, but he's got so many side jobs, he's busy all the time. What a great position to be in. And if we position ourselves, that's what we can do too. Lots of home businesses are going to start up out of this. If you want to be in line at Joann's, buy fabric, make things, sell on Etsy. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there. Make your grateful list. Don't ever forget that every day. What are we grateful for this morning? Hey, I was reading some of the notes in my Bible today, and one of the things that we so take for granted and forgot. Dear God, thank you for letting me wake up today and being able to see and hear. And you know what? My dog is deaf. My husband's going deaf. I'm not sure that's not selective hearing from a male, Sorry if there's males out there. Greg, if you're listening today, sorry about that. But we take these things for granted. I mean, we hop in the car and drive down the street and expect our car to start and go, and we got gasoline in the car, and we take these things for granted, but we need to make a list of all of the things we have and be grateful for. My car is a 2014. It's not brand new, but you know what? It's got the phone in the dash so that I have hands-free calling, and that's really all I care about. Gasoline, good tires, and go. I'm really grateful for those little things that we have put in place, and we need to keep track of all that. Pencil and paper, who created that stuff? Whiteout. Oh, I remember who created Whiteout. Mike Nesmith's mom. How many remember Mike Nesmith? Yes, I'm going back again. He's from the Monkees. Now, my brother texted me this week, and he asked me if I had a specific album. Remember those? They're vinyl circular things that go around on a record player. I know my audience is older than 22, so I know you guys remember. But I spent Saturday going through the records. We have between my husband and I, we have hundreds of them, hundreds. We bought them at yard sales for a while for $0.25, and then people realized they really wanted, there was a market, so they charged $1. How much did we pay? But I went through them and I started playing the old songs and that I loved and played, and I remembered all the words to. And I mean, it was just cool, and it brought back so many memories of being a kid. And, you know, my dad always said, if I went to one of those concerts and to cut off everybody's hair, I could make stuff 1,000 mattresses. That's little things that you forget, you know, but warm your heart, because they're just crazy. But, you know, they were our parents, and how many of those crazy things have we said to our kids? But anyway, I digress. But it's a grateful list. You know, my brother wants to be a minimalist, so he doesn't want me to throw away my records. He's going to, but he wants me to have them so he can borrow them. What's up with that? But I'm grateful for my brother. I was mad at him for a little while because we go out to dinner every Monday night, and we have for, I'll bet you 10 years or more. And, you know, sometimes something comes up that we don't, but it was my turn, and I had him over to the house. I cleaned the house. I bought the food in. I'd started cooking it. It was like, I don't know, noon, 1 o'clock on Monday. And he goes, we're not coming over tonight. We're going to stay home and be safe. Oh, he broke my heart. He broke like my husband. I would bring viruses into the house to get my husband sick, who's more vulnerable than you are, who's older than you are. He broke my heart, and I had trouble getting over it. But, you know, time heals everything. I don't know where I'd be without my brother. He's my last immediate living relative. And I'm really tickled he asked me for that record, even though I don't know how he's going to get it, because I guess I could drop it off on his porch and run like the wind, because, well, you know. But remember, we need each other. We don't want to be mad at each other for silly things. I mean, we didn't have to cook after that night for a long time because there was so much food left over. So we had dinner that night, and we had the same thing the next night. And I didn't cook everything early. I mean, I made like 3 dozen deviled eggs for our dinner. My husband and I ate them. They were very good. So, you know, write your grateful list. Choose joy. Over all things else, choose joy. We got to be happy. We got to look at the bright side. We have that choice. We have the choice to choose. We have a choice to choose joy and be happy and reach out to others and help others and love others and do good things for other people. The biggest thing, what is the biggest thing? Oh, Greg is back. Welcome, Greg. I don't know what that means. But the biggest thing we can do for each other, and I'm doing it right now, smile. Smile at each other. The people in the grocery store with the masks on, they're afraid. They're afraid. And the biggest thing we can do to them is not look at them because they look funny. They got this mask on. And I saw a thing on Facebook the other day that was just crazy. People had on a paper bag because they ran out of face masks with little eyes and mouth cut out. People had on a pointy ice cream cone cup. They were very funny. Okay, so that would make you laugh. Smile is important. Smile at these people with their face masks on. Help reduce their fear just by a smile. You know what a smile does? Oh, joking about selective hearing. Okay. I know. Okay, so not all men, just the men in my life, Greg. Oh, you're in my life too. He's mad at me because I accuse men of having selective hearing. My brother's that way too. And you know, they say, I need hearing aids. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It's like my dog, you know, my dog is losing his hearing too sometimes. He can hear a clap. And he can hear the word bump if I say it loud enough. He acts like he cannot hear his name. But yet if I say bump so he doesn't walk into things because he's blind, he seems to hear that. So I'm not sure. I think I see, and he's a male too, Greg. I can't help it. Selective hearing. And of course, I hear everything. I just don't tell you. Women, you know how we are. But anyway, let's go back to our grateful list and choosing joy and smiling at each other. Smiling, you know, those people in those masks are afraid. That's, you know, so smile, and that's going to help melt their heart, give them a little bit of courage. And that's what we need today is courage to get out and try new things and even do our social distancing, you know, one client at a time. I mean, you're going to have to trust your hair, your beautician at some point to cut your hair. They got to be close to you. I don't want a mechanical something or other cutting my hair. That would look awful. That would look like I cut it. That would be bad. So smile, choose joy, because something good is about to happen and you're going to make it happen. You have that choice. So what are you going to do this week? What are you going to do this week, Greg, that you haven't done before, that you should have done in helping other people? Greg sells lots of stuff on the internet too. And I'll tell you, with all this, the internet seems to be the place where people are surviving. So what can you sell on the internet? Do you know something specific? Do you know how to garden? Then maybe you need a coaching class that you can sell on the internet. How far to space your carrots and how many seeds to put in the ground and what makes basil grow the best and what kind of soil do you need? And, you know, I guess I did have a great crop of basil last year. But my flowers, even my daylilies are supposed to come back every year and they're dying. So I am rambling again, but I want to say, don't waste this time. What are things you could be accomplishing while you have this time at home? And I don't mean watching reruns of Gilligan's Island and Andy Griffith. I'm talking, you know, could you clean out your garage? Could you clean out your basement? Could you organize your clothes? Sorry, I was interrupted by the jokester down here. Good ideas should decide when to plant the seedlings outside. That outside is a good place to plant them, although sometimes you do plant, you start your seeds inside, so the seedlings do go outside. And actually that's what I heard on the radio was that you put them outside when it's time and you put them in the shade and you put them out of the wind so that when the wind comes, they are stronger and they can tolerate sun for 8 or 12 or 4 hours a day. So great idea. And that's real good, Greg. So we're going to ask you, how is your son's garden coming? You said he was building a square foot garden. Is anything popping up yet? Does he have his seedlings in there? We're going to put Greg on the spot here. So love and listen. We're getting to the end of our time here. Love and listen to people. Be present. Ask them questions. Do something that you can look back on this time with a smile on your face. And smile at others. Smile at yourself. And forgive yourself if you haven't done any of these things till now. But it's never too late. And we're not out of this quarantine yet. We're getting closer. Okay, so Greg's seedlings have just gone outside. So that's good. Thank you all for being here this week. We're going to I'll think of some other interesting topic and more things to share next week. I'd love to hear your stories. So either Send me an email at deb@odorexit.com. I'd love to hear your stories, what you're doing. Hey, send me your success with OdorXit. Send me some new odor it's gotten rid of for you. Tell me how it's working for you. And we love to hear your success. That makes us smile. But have a great week. We will be here next week. And thanks so much, Greg. And thanks everybody out there. And choose joy and smile.